Hello, Church of the City family. I am so glad to be with you again. If you did not see my first video, I'm Kate Moyer, and I'm a yoga therapist, a mindfulness meditation teacher, and a somatic practitioner. I am here today to talk about what it means to be present and how in the world do we do that. So one of the things that I teach a lot about is mindfulness. And mindfulness is the very thing that helps us learn how to be in the moment. So not the definition of mindfulness is learning to be with exactly what is in the here and now. And another part of mindfulness is without judgment. And why I think that part is so important is because oftentimes we have every good intention to get quiet, to get still, and we sit down and we recognize that we feel very antsy or we feel stressed or our mind's all over the place, and then we start judging ourselves like, oh my gosh, what's my problem? Why do I feel so anxious? I don't like this feeling. And then we get up and do something else to not feel those things. Sorry, this is Henry. He likes to visit all my videos. There he is. So mindfulness is the practice of learning to be present. And part of that is just recognizing what you are experiencing in the moment. So today I want to talk about a mindfulness practice called RAIN, and it's an acronym. So R is recognize, A is allow, I is investigate, and N is nurture. And so I want to go through this simple practice with you if you are wanting to be more present. If you are wanting to set aside all the distractions and you want to get quiet and still before the Lord, you want to connect with your heart, you want to perhaps meditate on scripture, yet you're all over the place, your mind is going in a million different directions, your body feels tense, and being still is the last thing that you want to do. Or maybe you sit down to be still and you legit fall asleep. So this practice of RAIN is a way that we can learn how to be present and also learn how to be with the things that are going on in our hearts and our minds. We use distraction because we don't want to see those things, and we especially don't want to feel them. And as cheesy as this is, I've said this over and over for many years, that in order to heal, we have to feel so then we can deal. We can't do anything with what we don't know about. And I think a little bit of our unconscious minds knows that we're sad. We know that we're scared. We know that this time of uncertainty is bubbling up all of these emotions. When we don't have all of the things to distract us, those things start bubbling up to the surface. And yet I wonder if that is one of the gifts of this time in quarantine. So how do we do this? All right, let's kind of do a practice together. And the first thing, honestly, is to help yourself feel relaxed in the body. So we're going to do just a little bit of a physical practice today. I'm just sitting in my chair. You can sit on the couch or sit on the floor, but try to make sure you feel supported. So in the last video, I talked about what happens in the mind happens in the body, and what happens in the body is happening in the mind. So they're interconnected. And when we have stress and tension, it can help to keep us in that anxious state of being. So let's invite the body to perhaps release some of the stress and tension we are aware of, or maybe we're even unaware of. So very simple way to do that is with progressive muscle relaxation. So I'm going to take my hands, my forearms, my upper arms, and my shoulders, and I'm going to create tension as I inhale. And I'm going to release it as I exhale. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhale, creating tension, letting those muscles feel what might already be happening, and then inviting them to soften and relax and release. This also kind of gets blood flowing to the musculature. And let's do 1 more time. Inhale, tightening, creating tension any way that you want. And then exhale, relaxing and releasing. And then just let your arms and hands rest. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good. And then let's do that in the lower body. So hips, glutes, legs, all the way down to the feet. Take an inhale and tighten. Take an exhale, relax. Let all of that tension drain out, and then do 2 more. So you can scrunch your toes, you can flex your feet, you can straighten your legs, whatever you can do. Breathe out, let it all go. So helping the body to recognize the tension that it may already be holding, and then to give it the opportunity to let go. Let's do 1 more in the lower body. Inhale, tightening. Engaging all of the muscles and the tension they're holding. Exhale, relax and release. And then take a moment to soften through the whole lower body. Smooth breath in and out. Good. And then let's create some tension in the chest, in the abdomen, in the spine. So you may kind of arch your spine, you may round your spine, you may kind of feel that the sides of the body are squeezing in however you can. I want you to inhale and create tension through the torso and the spine. And then exhale, let that all go. Let it relax, feel like the bones have more space, and we'll do it 2 more times. So inhale, tighten through the torso, the spine, the abdomen. Engage with tension, and then exhale, consciously breathe out and let it go. Good job. 1 more. Inhale. And don't hurt yourself. don't do too much. And then exhale, completely relax. Good. So we're going to do 2 little kind of self-massage techniques, if you will. So these are major areas where we collect and store tension, honestly, from poor posture and from overthinking. So I'm going to turn right at the base of the skull. Okay, there's these 2 kind of bones on either side at the base of the skull. And so right here where kind of the neck comes up into the hairline, it's called the occipital ridge. And that's where these neck muscles come up and attach to the head. And for so many people, that creates tension headaches. This area can be really tender. And it's also just from the neck muscles straining when we're looking forward and down at a screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a little pressure. So you can do just your index finger, you can do 2 fingers, you can do all 4, depending on how much pressure you want to create. So you're just going to kind of press into the base of the skull on the left and the right side. When you inhale, you're going to create some pressure. So I'm leaning my head back into my fingers. And then on the exhale, you're going to back off. You don't even need your hands, and you're going to drop the chin to the chest and let that go and feel those neck muscles stretch. So we're going to do that again. Inhale, create some tension and pressure in those muscles that tend to get really tight. This also will help with jaw tension. Exhale, let it go, relax, drop the chin, and you can just release your arms. And then 1 more time. So creating some pressure, just like a little self-massage, helping those muscles to break open what feels rigid and tight. Get some circulation and blood flow. Exhale, drop the chin down to the chest. Good. And then the last area that we are going to address is right here through the outer edges of the eyes, the temples. Again, when we're staring at a screen all day, it's really straining for the eyes. All the tiny little muscles around the eyes get really tight. And a lot of times people feel that in the temples, which also can create headaches. So same option is to just use 1 or 2 or all 4 fingers, or you can use the heels of the hands. So I'm going to do that just because I know that feels okay for me. Don't do too much. So again, you're going to inhale, create pressure by kind of pushing the hands into the temples or the fingers. And then exhale, let that go. Breathe out. Good. You might even feel a little lightheaded. So a lot of times the brain isn't used to taking in that much oxygen. So just give yourself a moment. Don't pass out. So 2 more. Inhale, create pressure. And exhale, relax, release, and let that go. Maybe you can even start to soften the eyes a little bit. Good. 1 more. Inhale, create pressure. And you may notice one side feels a little tighter than the other. Exhale, relax, release, and let that go. So one way to begin to be present is to be in your body, to feel. And mindfulness is just that coming into the present moment, acknowledging what is happening. And we started by noticing physically what is happening. And I won't go into this today, but some other things that you can do to help yourself be present is to use the rest of your senses. So maybe even just looking around the room and naming 3 things that catch your eye for whatever reason. You like the color, you like the texture. Pausing and just listening. Like, what is the sound that you hear the loudest? And then what is the sound that you hear the furthest away from you, that you can barely hear it? The sense of smell. This is where some people use aromatherapy, and you can even just light a candle. But it invites you to come into what is happening in the here and now. And then finally, taste. So there are a lot of guided meditations on just eating a piece of chocolate really slowly or savoring the flavor and the taste in the mouth. So those are some ways that you can be present by using your physical body. And I want to come back to our mindfulness acronym RAIN. So here's how we can do that just very quickly today. I won't go too deep into it, but when you come to a place of stillness, when you want to be present, it's good to just bring attention to the body, and then maybe you sit back and you close your eyes and you take an easy breath in and out. And I invite you to do that now if you like. Just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to keep my eyes open. But just relaxing back, taking a deep breath. And the first step is to recognize what is happening currently in your body, in your mind, and in your heart. Like, what did you bring with you into this time? Maybe you brought worry. Maybe you're noticing frustration. Maybe this nagging sense of uncertainty is really stealing your peace. So just recognize it. Just name what it is to yourself. And then the second step, which honestly I find the most challenging, is allowing it. So we spend so much energy running from our emotions, running from what's troubling our hearts, by being distracted, by numbing, by, I know, I'm going to say it, everyone's going to be mad at me, Netflix. So taking a few moments not to indulge in your feelings, not to go down into a pit of despair, but just to allow what is really happening to be there. And the beautiful thing as believers is we can ask for God's presence to come in and sit with us in our experience, to feel his love and compassion as we allow the hurts and the wounds and the fears to bubble up from our hearts and to be known and to be seen. So a few breaths, maybe a minute or two. Again, you don't have to indulge in this, but just allowing. Getting rid of denial, getting rid of resistance. A saying in my line of practice that I've heard for years is, whatever we resist persists. And then the next step is to investigate with kindness. So remember in the beginning, mindfulness is letting go of the judgment. And oftentimes that's just the controlling nature of our minds. We want to have control. We want to know what it is. We want to know what to do. We want to know how to fix it. And this is very much a practice of surrender, of placing ourselves before the Lord and just learning to be present and to be still and to let go of the need to be so in control. I was talking with a friend in the first couple, weeks of this COVID-19 thing, and I thought it was so wonderful, but she reminded me of the concept of our daily bread. I think of the Israelites in the wilderness where, manna literally came down from heaven daily. Like that was their daily bread. They were so dependent on the Lord. And I wonder if that is something that the Lord is trying to bring us back to, our dependence on him, that he is our ultimate resource, that he is our daily bread. And so this investigate with kindness is not an opportunity to judge, but to really just feel what's happening in the body. So this is more of a somatic experience. Where do you feel the nervousness? Is it in your chest? Is it in your abdomen? Is it in your throat? Where do you feel the fear and uncertainty? Maybe it's in your jaw. Perhaps you're noticing it in the rising up and tensing of the shoulders. I want you just to investigate with kindness how this mental stress is showing up in your body through physical manifestation, of tightness, of tension, of a gripping feeling in the belly. And just invite the Lord's healing presence into that. Take 3 deep breaths. Inviting a sense of compassion for whatever it is you're experiencing, letting go of judging yourself and thinking you shouldn't be feeling this way, you should know better, or I thought I was a stronger believer than this. Allow and invite God in. And the last step is to nurture. And this sounds, again, maybe a little foreign, but if you think of a kiddo and when they fall down, when they scrape their knee, they don't want a speech of what they shouldn't or should be doing. First, they want a hug and they want comfort. And honestly, as adults, we're no different. We so desperately want to be soothed. We want to be comforted. And the amazing thing is when we put ourselves in the presence of God, when we ask for his presence. He is the great comforter. And so when we are afraid and we are uncertain, we truly just want safety and comfort. So this last piece is to nurture. Maybe you just over and over and over again remind yourself of a truth of God. God, you are my comforter. God, you are my provider. God, I can trust in you. So this nurturing piece is finding peace in the Prince of Peace, right? Reminding your soul of God's goodness and how he sees everything that is going on in the earth, and that we can be nurtured and comforted in his presence. I want to invite you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And if you did have your eyes closed, opening the eyes. So that was a short practice on this mindfulness tool called RAIN. If you want more information, if you'd like to do some different practices with me, there are other videos that I posted on this YouTube channel. I am working on more resources for you. I have some Stretch the Stress Out classes right now. I have a 5-video series, Morning Meditations with Kate, and until the end of May, all of my online classes are buy one, share one, because I want this message of learning how to be calm and present to get out to as many people as possible. So please go to Mindful Living with Kate. Follow me on social media. I'm pretty much on Instagram, Mindful Living with Kate, just posting reminders of how to be present. And please reach out to me if you have questions at mindfullivingwithkate@gmail.com. Thank you so much.